All right, well, we're going to get started. So thank you guys all for coming tonight. My name is Alyssa. I am the campus manager for 4Geeks Academy. So we're here tonight to celebrate cohorts 34 and 35 and their final project presentations and their graduation. So I'm going to kick it off by telling you guys a little bit about 4Geeks Academy and who we are and what we do. So we are a coding bootcamp. We are headquartered in Miami, Florida, but we have 10 locations in 7 different countries across the globe. So we have presence in North, South, Central America, as well as Europe. 85% of our graduates find jobs within the first 90 days after graduation. We have above 2,500 graduates now, and we've been rated one of the top coding boot camps in the world. Some of our validations, things that we've been recognized for, is we were named Best Coding Bootcamp in 2021 by Premios Excelencia Educativa. We are among the top 30 worldwide boot camps by SwitchUp. We average 4.9 stars across all platforms, and we are licensed by the U.S. Department of Education. Our track record. So our mission here at 4Geeks is to reduce the unemployment rate, provide accessibility, and increase the amount of digital talent available. So how do we do that? We do it through 2 main platforms called GeekPal and GeekForce, which I'm going to explain to you guys next. But after our students graduate, they are seeing an average of 22% salary increase, and 86% of those graduates are getting jobs in that 90-day period. So the first platform is called GeekPal, and GeekPal gives our students and our graduates unlimited access to us and to our community for the rest of their lives. So we have a Slack community with over 2,500 developers, and it's a community of developers helping developers. So we support you through your coding journey and through your continued career as a developer. We offer different ways to get support. Could be via Slack, could be one-on-one mentoring sessions, and could be through global and or group mentoring sessions, which we hold on weeknights and Saturday mornings. So those are all ways that our students can get extra help, and that help never has a limit. So they have access to us forever. Our second platform is called GeekForce. This is our career support track. Here is Adele Zapata. She is our head of career support, and her job is to help our graduates get jobs. So she has one-on-one meetings, helps them with their resume, with their LinkedIn, interview preparation, everything through the application process, through the interview process, and the follow-up process up until the day they're placed. So that 90-day period, it's about 3 months. So we like to joke and say that that's the second boot camp that all of our graduates tonight are going to be entering. So they just finished 4 months of learning how to code, and now they're going to enter their 3-month boot camp of finding a job. So Adele, Valentina, and Patricia all help them out with that, and hopefully we can get you guys all jobs within that 90-day period. Here are some companies that have hired our students. So you can see at the top some of the bigger companies like Ultimate Software, Twilio, Uber, eBay, Microsoft, Facebook, National Geographic, all really great companies. And then as you go down, you're going to see some more mid-sized to smaller companies where our graduates are currently working. Oops, wrong way. Here are some of our partners that we work with. These could be educational partners, financing partners, communities that our graduates join, just various organizations and companies that work with our school. And then tonight we have 2 speakers. We have Claudio and Jose. So they are going to be speaking up next. And then tonight's roster, we have dinner, date, dessert with Leo, Corinne, and Aaron. We have modern education with Juan and Jonathan, Washius with Alec and Austin, mindset with John and Chad, storytime with Alan, Douglas, Sean, and Nicholas. And finally, we will have Moody with Matthias and Brian. So that is it. Without further ado, I will bring over Claudio and Jose, and I will pass the mic on to them.
How's the dynamic?
You can just...
Okay, well, my name is Claudio De Salvo. I'm working in the IT industry since 25 years ago. Currently, I'm a head of engineer of a small consultancy company that is more focused on software development and also software consultancy for the health industry mostly.
Thank you for the invite. For Gifts Academy, I'm very glad to be here. You have like a great reputation. I work for Instrument. It's a marketing digital agency. I work as the tech lead. Before I worked with Ford and Nutrient Ag Solutions, developing and architecting applications that are kind of like a fintech and data science. And well, we'll be here to share some of our journey experience and share that with the community. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys both for coming. I have some Q&A questions for you guys prepared, and then we can also open up the floor for both in-person and online attendances if they have any questions for you guys. So my first question is, what qualities are companies looking for in junior developer candidates right now?
Well, juniors candidate today will meet, from my point of view, 3 options, right? Or 3 considerations. First, knowledge, right? So understand the framework that you're using, the technologies. Second one, how to fix problems, right? Basically, doing software development, where we are doing is building something to fix someone or to solve a problem, right? So we need to be, because I consider always a software developer, and then last one, and one of the most important, think out of the box, right? Normally, when a junior starts working, the regular pattern is copy and paste. An advice, avoid it, always in your life. Copy and paste. I know it's easy to look for in Stack Overflow or anything in Milan, have enough intelligence to fix the problem trying to solve by yourself and not copy and paste.
So in my case, I can say that there is a great book about the Polyas problem, right? How can you start like framework any problem that you're faced in the technology realm, and that could be kind of like the upper stand up plan for the problem, executed, but reflect about what you did, so that way you can have some sort of feedback, feed forward on your workflow. And most important, it's a student that just completed should always have be prone to error and failure. Don't be afraid of that. It's part of the process. Don't expect that you're gonna be, of course, a computer scientist next day. It's a journey. It takes time, it takes patience, a lot of patience, but never discourage yourself to keep persisting on that path, and always try to kind of your 5, 10, 20 minutes every morning on practice one piece of code, some vanilla JS, something that you want to through Python, whatever of those programming languages, so you keep in shape throughout the process.
Great, thank you guys. Next question, how can junior developers make the best use of their time in the first 90 days after graduation? What should they be focusing on?
Make a lot of mistakes. I think make a mistake, you learn. Basically, in my career, I've been 25 years old working on software development. I did a lot of mistakes, but every mistake helped me to understand what I did wrong and improve. So you're a junior, right? You're starting in an industry that's, there are a lot of many partner engineers, professionals, areas where you have to deal with people with different industries, and you never be able to fix the problem immediately, right? So don't get pressure. So you are starting. So but during these 90 days, you have to make a lot of mistakes, Obviously, don't broke nothing in production. And be close to the senior guys. Those senior guys, architects or technical leads that can help you to improve your knowledge, to your skills. So don't be afraid to ask. Ask everything. Even if you think that you're going to ask something stupid, ask. Because if you don't ask and made a mistake, right? So make mistake, ask.
Something that is very important with you in your 90 days is keep applying to interviews. Keep applying to job interviews. If you're not on it, is not your soft skills are not aligned with the esprit de course of that company. So you have to keep interview. That's not like make you better for the next interview and prepare you. So I can tell you, don't the first 2-3 interviews if you didn't kind of like make the consists because definitely when you the more you interview, the more chances you get success. Another thing that you should do these 90 days is kind of like refining your resume, having your profile ready, sent to everyone on your team. I use some awesome Slack channel to provide back. Also make resources. Then, if you're doing not a recipe for success.
Great answers. Thank you, guys. Next question. Are soft skills or coding skills more important during the interview process, or are they the same?
Well, during the process interview, yes, obviously the code skills are important, right? But this is a personal opinion, right? I do an interview. If you made a mistake in coding, even if you ask me right now, which is for Java, the method to parse and string, I don't remember. Go to Google, find out, and use it. That's it. But you need to know that it exists, that is something you can find. So your coding skill should not have based it strictly on the technology or something like, oh, I don't know how to do that, don't remember. No, coding skill, you can find it. But this coding skill will be improved by your soft skills, right? Your soft skill is, like I said recently, the other question, be close to your manager or technical lead, understand the business, because the developers work in several business areas, right? I work in banking, health, ticket islands. So that's a good one. Learning something new, not only coding, you are learning business, and your soft skill have to be prepared for that, right? So in the interview, well, be prepared for your preparing in your language on your technical skill, but be prepared also to be more free in your soft skills. Show you are yourself.
Yeah, so I think they're not mutually exclusive. They're both important. I always give kind of like leg up to people who show soft skills that are more like genuine. And what I mean with that is like you will have a lot of pressure in whiteboarding interviews. That's everyone's. So as long as you have like analytical thinking that you can pseudocode, if you see that you don't recall that method or whatever to respond that, say, look, I'm going to apply my pseudocode and this is what I think. And I saw you have like a workflow logic on your mind because Claudio said you can, of course, find Google, Stack Overflow, ask in Slack, and you get there. The most important is the way that you are using the design thinking process on a problem and how you're going to tackle. And soft skills, of course, I mean, we're kind of like a lone wolf setting due to the pandemic, probably before some of us work remotely. And that's something that, of course, um, we lost a lot of our social skills on that. So communication always is key to share your thoughts, to send early warnings. Don't be afraid to post in a Slack channels. Of course, do your due diligence on try to research or spike where you're looking on your code. And if you can find it after that, don't spend more than 20 minutes in a problem. If you can't get it, just share that with your resources, with your fine.
Great. Question on a little lighter note. What is your favorite aspect of working in tech?
Like this project that I've been involved, I always try to leave something to the community or to the world. Working in a bank, try to do the software better. Working in a health industry, try to do something through it. Learning every day something new, not only in the technology, because technology day by day is going to become a commodity with the new tools like no code or any other frameworks, but something that is not yet going to replace the human brain is what you can learn in the business side, right? So become an expert on a fixed protocol like a stock market, or become an expert in cryptocurrency, something like that is something challenge in our profession, right?
So the most kind of like loving aspect of working in technology, it's like you can work remotely. And believe it or not, that's a great advantage compared to other professions. Also, the most beautiful about that is like when you solve a problem, you're able to kind of like you have this carpe diem of your day and say, that's great, I make part of this group, see how the system has evolved in something that is more kind of like really offering tangible solutions. So I think like that aspect of me as an engineer, because you have to consider not a software developer, you're a software engineer because you are engineering solutions to certain problems. So you never be kind of, you will be the JavaScript engineer, you will be the Python engineer. So don't ever think that because you made 4 years in an undergrad and 2 years in a computer science master, you are not consider yourself an engineer. You are. So that thing is something that you should always like be proud, and of course you will see the outcome later in your career. So thank you.
Cool. Thank you guys so much. Is there anybody here on campus or online that has questions that they want to ask?
I got a question.
Yeah,
Austin.
go ahead.
If you guys were to start over your careers, like from square one, what would you do differently than you did now?
Oh, this is, yeah, in my career. So I'm mostly working as a software developer, but I create a company dedicated to software architecture, right? And I would say that we'll put more focus on this, right? Software architecture. Software architecture, hopefully, for a long time, is not going to disappear. So because it's like a building, right? So you have to connect different pieces to have a big building, a big construction. Here we are doing the same, right? We are doing software, big software, and put focus in the quality. Put focus on create something more reliable, with more quality. Maybe during my career, sometimes because the moment, the speed, the situation, I put a lack of some quality of my project. But I would say that put more quality and be more focused on software architecture. Learn day by day software architecture.
So I have a major on ecology, so that's kind of like believe it or not much into coding. I studied in a bootcamp as well, and honestly, if I had the choice to go to undergrad and a bootcamp, I'll 100% take a bootcamp. Of course, I won't increase my debt in the long term, and second of all, that of course a technique will give you the tools that you need to advance more quick, and of course being able to get into the experience and to understand market gaps I definitely agree. Software architecture is a big thing. Don't ever focus too much in the granular thing of the codes. Keep like researching the new serverless technologies, migration, AWS is big, other could be Google Cloud and so forth. I'm just trying to tell you that the market is requiring a lot of people with code skills, but understanding architecture and especially serverless architectures.
Any other questions? You have a question?
So guys, personally, Miami, in terms of like I'm running and maybe even tying that into crypto. And I know like the mayor wants Miami to be like the crypto city of the world. So just what are your thoughts on that?
Well, honestly, I'm not an expert on crypto, so I don't have too much to provide you, maybe. So yes, not because I'm not the expert on crypto and I don't be involved too much on this technology. No, you?
So yeah, we're all aware there was the World BTC. Oh, are we online? Okay. Yeah, so Miami, the last we see compare the city, the crypto town in the world. So Miami is becoming the Monaco of America, and that's very interesting because there is a lot of companies, technology companies that migrated here and established here, of course, as well as them is like kind of like uh, a series all this year. Um, we
Is the audio working now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Any other So then thank you guys very much. And we're going to move into our final our first campus, Leo, and then online dessert.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Corinne Ohana, and we've got Leo Estrella and Aaron Lash. This is Dinner Date Dessert, our final project. It's an application designed to curate dining and activities based on zip code and preferences specified by the consumer. So again, my name's Corinne, and I previously had about 5 years of experience in sales and marketing, as well as several years working with SaaS and UI UX. I started with 4Geeks Academy to better learn application development and to further pursue software engineering in my long-term career. A fun fact about me is that I live in South Florida and I practice martial arts. Do you want to say something?
My name is Leo Estrella, born here in Miami, currently live in Miami. Previously, I worked in sales for a major cruise line as a team lead for the past 3.5 years. Earlier this year, I decided to finally take the leap and do a career change into tech, something I've been very interested in the last few years. And I believe it's the future, and all the things that are being built with VR and augmented reality and blockchain and all that. And I want to be part of that building process of the future. And also, I think this skill will help me in the future to reach my entrepreneurial goals as well. And then we have Erin.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Erin Lash. I was born and raised in the Bay Area, where I currently reside, California. I come from a professional background in hospitality, and some fun facts about me are that I enjoy gardening and roller skating. My transition to tech began about a year ago when I realized that I was ready for a better future for myself and to have the opportunity to make more lasting changes in the world. I chose 4Geeks for the support they provide their students, as well as the structure of a classroom-like setting where I can learn from my peers and stay motivated.
Awesome. So welcome to the agenda. Today, we're going to be talking about why we created Dinner Date Dessert. We will discuss some of the technologies we use to build the application. Then we will go through a demo where we will show you how it works and all the functionality. And we will discuss some of the challenges we had when building the project. And lastly, we will talk about future enhancements for the project. All right, so why Dinner Date Dessert? We really like the idea of having a custom dining and date night experience, as all three of us are from major cities. Leo lives in Miami, I'm from New York City, and Aaron lives in San Francisco. So by instant gratification, consumers are always looking for the easiest path to get information on the areas around them. We also believe that our app can better support small businesses and further promote events. And it's streamlined to help find the best activities and restaurants catered to that consumer's preferences. I'm going to pass it along to Aaron for the next slide.
Thank you, Corinne. Okay, here, so just to provide you all with some facts and figures behind our project, in a recent study done by the Washington Post, 80% of millennials are part of a dual income couple, and in which both partners work full-time. This is a staggering increase compared to the previous generations, with Gen Xers at 73% and baby boomers at just 47%. So this highlighted to us a growing disparity in free time amongst generational couples, and it illustrated a need for a quick and pain-free planning service. And enter Dinner Date Dessert. Next slide. Okay, so here's a breakdown of how Dinner Date Dessert works. Our app will generate a list of dinner and activity or date options based on the user's location, so they can say goodbye to hours of scrolling the web for ideas. We'll also provide them with a nightcap idea, maybe a dessert, a late night espresso, or a local patisserie for a quick pastry. It's all there for them to customize. And the technologies we used Git as our host. On the front end, we did HTML and CSS, JavaScript, Material UI, Bootstrap, Survey.js, and React. And on the back end, we have the Yelp Fusion API, SQL, SQL Alchemy, Python, and Flask. And so some of our design decisions involved providing our users with a simplistic, fun, and streamlined planning process while maintaining an organized and interactive environment to entice them to come back and create more memories with us. Finally, a future endeavor for a dinner date dessert will be providing the user with an even further customizable experience on the user's preferences, dietary restrictions, previously enjoyed outings, etc., using our questionnaire feature. And now I'll pass it over to Leo for a look at our most memorable moments.
All right, and so before we show you the demo, we do have some memorable moments of building and creating this app. One of the memorable moments is that feeling of wanting to cry after solving a grueling challenge for the first time. As junior developers, we encountered a lot of things for the first time, and being able to problem solve and overcome that hurdle is a great feeling. So that's definitely a memorable moment for me. Aaron has working with a dedicated, reliable team towards our ultimate shared goal. We did have great synergy throughout this entire project, working together. We couldn't ask for a better team. And then Corinne, continuous learning on implementing several concepts and challenges throughout the duration of the project and having those aha moments. And so now we'll go ahead and start a demo. So let me go ahead. All right, so first, this is our landing page. So here, pretty simple. The idea is to make it very simplistic. We want to be like the opposite of Yelp that just has a bunch of results. And so here we kind of prime the user that they're going to get a dinner, a date, and a dessert options. We do have, if you click on the logo, kind of like an Easter egg of our about me, so you can look us, and there behind it spelled the 3D team for 3Ds. Head and Facebook as well. User can also do the traditional way and register with their email and password. But again, to make it pretty clean and pretty simple, we're just going to go ahead and do Google sign in. It is connected to our database, so if they don't have an account with us, it will automatically generate a new account. If they're a return user, then it'll access the data from their account. So here's our main page. So we have 3 cities as of right now: San Francisco, Miami, and New York City. And then within each city, we narrowed it down to just 4 areas of that particular city that they would be interested in going. Again, trying to narrow down the options, trying to make it streamlined and easy for our users to pick a spot and pick a particular outing. So we'll go ahead and let's do Miami, let's do South Beach, and then we'll go ahead and click best options. And on the top row, we have 3 dinner options. If it will load, there we go. It loaded, it takes a little time for some reason. All right, so we have our 3 dinner options on the top row. In the middle row here, we have our activities or our date options. And then in the bottom row, we have our dessert options. So we can go ahead and choose. So we'll go choose here. We'll do a beach day since we're in South Beach, and we'll end with this option for dessert. And then so on the right here, it will build your stack. Once your stack is how you like it, you can go ahead and save it. And it will go ahead and push it to our upcoming outings page right here. And we have a couple from before as well. Need some time to load. Back here, we don't just have those initial options. We have multiple options, so the user can mix and match, and they can scroll through and get more. I think the internet's a little bit slower here than at my house. All right, so here we go. Just to show you, they can click the more button down here and get more options. So like here, I'm gonna and she's gonna explain the explore component for us.
Thanks, Leo. So here we have our beautiful explore component, and each result is a link to the corresponding business's Yelp page. So Leo, I'll have you click on that to do a quick little demonstration. And it'll take you to a new window where you can review dietary restrictions, etc. Okay. All right, so it's stuck on the Explore page. Okay. All right, we're back. Okay. So, and
So if
You choose-
you can hear this, get back feature 10 to each zip code for data and museum and Mr. Crane. Okay, so we can go ahead. This stuff. It goes over to upcoming outings, and then Karen is going to give us the last.
All right, so this is the upcoming outings page, where the outings are collected and organized from the Desires page and the Explore page. If you click on the button besides the outings, it'll move the outings to the Memories page. All right, this is our Memories page. We implemented a survey to get consumer feedback about their experience. This is also where you can see past outings for the consumer's reference. All right, I'm passing it to Leo to discuss the preferences page.
So at the end of the goal is here is to, at the very beginning, when the user signs up, this is going to be part of a future feature, is that we're going to have a questionnaire that they can fill out. On this questionnaire, we will see their interests, their desires. Are they more an adventurous person? Do they want anything to do outdoors, sports stuff, or do they want to do something more indoors, go to a comedy show, go to a movie night, etc. So our plan would be to implement machine learning to take this data from the front before they go on any outing and take that information, and then take the information at the end of the outing and see how they enjoy the outing. Did they enjoy that restaurant, on what level? And then that basically we wanted to make it kind of like a match.com. So we want to match the individual to the perfect outing that's suited for them. That makes us different from Yelp, because Yelp has 5-star reviews, so it tells you what a certain individual thought about that restaurant on their meal. But that might not mean it's a great place for me to go to if you have a dietary restriction or you just don't like that type of food. So it might be a great restaurant, 5 stars, but for me it means nothing if I'm vegan. So we kind of want to be like, take that data from the front and the back after the experience and basically make it very simple and very quick for users to get a perfect outing without spending hours and make those nice memories in their life. And then a couple of other things here. We do have a settings page where they can go ahead and reset their password or delete their account, which we will not want them to do. We will miss them. And then we do have the logout, which will take them to a logout screen. After a few seconds, it'll push them back to the login page so they can get ready for next weekend. So let's go back to our presentation here, finish up. All right, so some of the challenges were incorporating libraries that have hard coding styles. We did use a couple of different libraries, but we worked really well in solving that by using a live spreadsheet where we all had specific roles assigned to ourselves, so we knew who was working on what, so we didn't code over anyone's code. Research, we spent hours becoming experts at combining online resources to execute our vision. And some of the breakthroughs were resolving problems in code, such as deployment or anything we haven't seen before. I think we became very used to that practice of figuring it out, finding the solution, problem solving, trying, testing, until we finally got the right code that was needed. Some key takeaways and future enhancements. Some future enhancements would be full social media integration, so the user can seamlessly post onto Instagram and Facebook while they're on the outing. 2 is what we talked about, incorporating AI machine learning to get that data from questionnaires as well as the survey at the end to better curate and better give results that will make it a lot quicker for them to make a great outing. And then the third feature would be to create a mobile version for our app. And so we like to thank, well, at least I like to thank 4Geeks, all the instructors, the tutors and teachers throughout this process. It's been an amazing journey for me. And also I want to thank my teammates, Corinne and Aaron, because they've been awesome to work with this entire time.
And for me, I'd like to thank my husband, who's been my #1 cheerleader, my family, especially my sisters, who are my whole world, the 4Geeks team, Alyssa, Carla, and Brandon, our honorary 3D team member, and he spent countless hours with me, so I really appreciate him. And of course, my wonderful teammates, and it's been a pleasure of a privilege. I can't ask for a better team, so thank you.
Yes, and I just want to also thank my team as well. I feel very grateful for all the support from Leo and Aaron, and thank you to the Academy and the mentors and instructors for all the support during the last 3 months.
And so if you have any questions, we can take questions now. Thank you.
I have a question. What was your favorite part working on the project?
Is that directed to me, Michael? My favorite part was honestly that feeling after you spent, in my particular case, working on the back end, working with the data and stuff, when you spend countless hours, like 4, 5, 6 hours just on one thing, and it's like you just don't let go, you don't quit. So building that determination and not quitting, and finally somehow magically through some website, some trail, some rabbit hole, you find the answer, plug it in, it works, and you did it, you solved it. So that feeling, I don't think anything can replace it. It's like I told my friends and family, it's like winning a championship. Sometimes it's like I did it, like I did it. I was able to push through, persevere, and accomplish something.
That's awesome, man. That feeling never goes away, by the way. It happens every day in software development.
Sounds good. Anything else? Any other questions? And thank you. I see the messages here for a good job. We thank you. We appreciate it.
Great job, guys. Thank you so much. So our next group up is Modern Education with Juan and Jonathan.
Good afternoon, peoples. How you guys doing? Let me set up really quick the screen so we can start up.
Let's go, Juan.
All right. Okay, guys. So we came up with Modern Education, and we are the good guys team. That's what we call ourselves. So I am Juan Duran. Was born and raised in the Dominican Republic. I've been in this country for about 9 years, on and off. I went to college and studied business administration, and for a living, I am a manager in a body shop, collision center. I wanted to join 4Geeks because, working over 60 hours a week and family, and, wanted to do more. Coding, it's basically limitless. Technology is something that's going to be part of us forever. And I think that there's a lot more that has to be done. My hobby, basically, I'm a biker, so I ride motorcycles when I got the time. That's basically my therapy. Now, John should be around there.
Yeah, my name is John Sowers. Born and raised in the Indianapolis, Indiana area. I've got a degree in philosophy and political science from Ball State University, which I have parlayed into a career in managing facilities. Right now, I work in senior living as a maintenance director for a senior living facility here in the Indy metro area. At the beginning of this year, I decided to make a career pivot into technology at the advice of a friend of mine who's a director of engineering for a small startup here in Indy. I chose 4Geeks Academy because the class schedule worked well for me. The class times were convenient for me with my family, and also because I really liked the Geek Pal and Geek Force options that are available to graduates for the rest of their lives. When I'm not coding or plunging toilets at a senior living facility, I like to do some woodworking. I'm a woodworker by hobby, and I also do a lot of tabletop gaming, D&D, and things like that. So,
Okay. So why modern education? The idea, basically, what's John's wife told him one day, like, hey, I see that you're looking to study to code, and you spend a lot of time, figuring out what to do and getting the information, right? So basically happens to everybody. Once you want to start in this type of career, you have no idea where to start, where to go. There's so much technologies, and you don't even know what's old, what's new, and then unfortunately, that's why figuring out what to study. So there's nothing clear online. Basically, you either have to, if you have somebody that can guide you through it, that knows a little bit about it, then he can kind of, or she can point you in the right direction. So try to find, because it's not just a boot camp or a software development education itself. There's actually, you've got computer science programs, and everything ranges in pricing, time frames, what is it for whom. So one interesting thing that we did find online is that every time that you're searching for something, I think Google or whatever it is, it just puts the same things in the same order. So you really don't have the real choices, but the bigger schools, the ones that pay money on the side, or whatever it is. So it's time consuming. It's a lot for them to start doing this, which is a lot as well. What we tried to accomplish with this was to give information to the user and to educate a little bit, and to give the more realistic options on what to do, where to start, and that way we can cut some of that time of going bananas, right, on this thing. Okay, so we have some personal experiences. John, if you want to start with yours, please.
yeah, so my big struggle was just time management. Like I said, I've got a full-time job outside of the academy, like a lot of people do. And also my family out here, I've got a 3-month-old, or not quite 3-month-old son. So he decided to show up right in the middle of my cohort, which made attending class sometimes kind of fun. So figuring out how to build the project around those schedules, and working with Juan's schedule, because he's also a working professional who has a family. So finding the right times to meet up could be difficult at times. The favorites functionality I'll talk a little bit more about when we get to our challenges section. As far as the achievements, I'm really proud of some of the use effect hooks that I was able to build into the front end of our project that keep everything from crashing when you go back and forth between the different pages within the application, because it's reaccessing the API, which also rolls into some of the backend integration that I did with the College AI API. That was causing us some rendering issues for a while, but we were able to kind of Google and struggle our way through it until we figured out and came out the other side of it. So I'll pass it back over to Juan.
All right. So in my end, basically the struggles John mentioned, the time management, we're all busy these days. We got to work, we got to produce. And also the imposter syndrome. It's funny because a lot of people that come to 4Geeks have no idea what this is. And then it takes you over, and you feel like you're not good enough, that you're not going to be able to finish it, that you don't understand that everybody else is more, smarter than me, and so many other things that at the end of the day, it's a process. People have to go through it, then understand it, give it a hug and live with it. That's the way I see it. But then we got my biggest achievement was have a different mindset of how to grab the problem, how to grab the project, what we were going to do, what was the first part, how we can do this, how we can do that. And that way, that big chunk, we started, taking it little by little. And at the end, we succeed, really. So I'm pretty proud of what we have become so far. Okay, so the technologies that we utilize on our project are basically Bootstrap, React, GitHub, Gitbud, Python, HTML5. We utilize SQL Alchemy. You use the API called College API. We had to create one ourselves as well. So we're talking too much, things in the air, but now I believe that we have to go and do that live demo. So if you don't mind, John, let's go ahead and see what modern education is all about. All right, so in this landing page here, we're going to have some general information. What is modern education? We're going to have here the different computer science programs, what are going to be the information for it, the pros, the cons, as well, coding bootcamp, and at the end, what are going to be, the career opportunities that you can expect, what to see. In the bottom, we added some videos from YouTube. We did a lot of research for this. It was not just the coding portion of it, because a lot of people will say so many different things. And of course, you guys all know YouTube, that, it is what it is. All right, so that's basically our landing page. So John will continue to sign up and show the rest of what we have for you guys.
Yeah, so like we say here in the landing page, if it's somebody's first time here, we want them to sign up and create an account. If they're coming back, we want them to just go ahead and log in. You can also utilize the buttons up at the top. We'll go ahead and just log in using a dummy account here. And when you log in, you're brought to the search page. The search page is broken into two separate functions. You can either search for boot camps or search for a more traditional four-year college, which is why we included that primer information in the landing page, so you can kind of make that first big decision point before you get to before you get to the actual search, so you know which direction you're going to go. If you're looking at boot camps, we've got some search criteria built in that we identified as some of the major concerns for most students when they're deciding what boot camp they're going to go to. Most people are concerned with what types of programs are available. You can select either that you're not sure, you want to study coding. So, and these are keywords that were picked out of descriptions provided by the boot camps themselves. Maybe you want to study data analytics or data science instead, digital marketing. All those options are available. For the purposes of the demo, we're going to say not sure, so we can get as many results as possible. Maximum tuition, maybe you're only willing to spend up to a certain amount of capital. Everybody has a budget. So again, for the purposes of the demo, we're going to throw in a reasonably huge number here. And then we also know that the amount of time it takes you to complete the boot camp is important. One of the reasons I picked 4 Geeks was because it was basically a 14-week program with, of course, the month on the back end to build the final project. So some of them go up to 32 weeks. We're going to, again, select that for the purposes of the demo and do a search. The search pops up with all these results, and right away, you can do some comparison. You can see tuition. You can see how long it's going to take you to complete it and what the basic skill level is expected. For most of these boot camps, the skill level is beginner. Because this is a 4 Geeks Geek Talk, we'll learn more about them. As an example of the single view page, this provides you with some more information about the individual boot camp and gives you the option to go ahead and visit their site. That way, if you wanted to go ahead and apply, you can do that. We're going to go back to the search, and this time we're going to search for colleges. Now, the colleges have some different criteria based on the information available through the College AI API. We wanted to be able to render the list down by state, because if you want to go to the college physically, we want to make sure that it's accessible to you. Again, tuition is one of the biggest driving factors as to whether or not you're going to be able to go to a specific school. And then whether or not remote learning is available, more and more things are going remote. I know most of us are looking for a remote job when we get done with the academy. So whether they have remote learning for their programs available or not was important to us as well. We'll go ahead and leave state blank. Again, throw a giant number in here. Hopefully none of these cost $100,000. And you know what? I want to see the schools that have remote availability. Okay, so, and very similar information. One of the things that I wanted to make sure we included in these search results was the possible the average 6-year earnings out of the university. Now that's across all disciplines. They didn't have a variable for just inside of the software development, but it gives you an idea. Hey, if I go to this school, what can I expect to earn 6 years after I graduate? Let's take a look at Stanford's page. So we've got a nice description of Stanford University, and to give you a little bit of history about it, as well as, again, tuition information, graduation rates, 6-year, and in this page, we also get the 10-year earning potential of that school, whether they have housing available on campus or not. And again, we can go directly to Stanford University's website to gain more admission information. That's the long and the short of the demo at this time. We can log out and head back to main page. If you log out, it'll tell you that you're not logged in and try to get you to log back in again. And let Juan take over for the back end of the presentation here. Juan, your mic's muted, bud.
Oh, I see. That's why nobody was listening to me. So finally, the challenges and the advantages of building this application. The challenges were the debugging and the fetch requests. So we had to go in and out. We had to figure a lot of different things out, little things. Sometimes a word was misspelled. So yeah, we had our good share in there. But the good thing about it is that we got the experience, we learned with this, and same thing with the advantages that we were mentioning earlier. It actually we didn't get to the aha moment that people talk about in coding, but at least now I believe we're on the right track, that we have the idea on how to get there, how to get what we're looking for and what we want. Okay. So I believe that that's basically our presentation, and we have to thank everybody that was involved directly or indirectly with our cohort, our teachers, 4Geeks, our families, everybody, and obviously we got to thank Bill Murray. He's the funny part of not just being stressed out and having all of these things. Do you need to thank anybody, John, on your end?
Like you said, man, all of our mates in our cohort, instructors and our teaching assistant, Lewis, my family for supporting me through this major career change, and really excited to see what the next 90 days and the years beyond kind of look like.
All right, perfect. So if anybody does have any questions for us.
I has a question.
Yes, sir.
What made you choose the college API, and what drove you to choose? Like, was it the best one you found? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it?
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, I think we can, between me and John, I'm going to give you my first share, and then he's going to give you his, because it was a pain. On reality, trying to get that college API was really, really hard, because there's really not a lot of information out there. So we started, we did the boot camps because there's nothing made for that. We had to do that ourselves, but then we needed to find an API, and finally we got that one, and Lewis was with us, one of our mentors, and finally he was actually on top of trying to help out because there was nothing available. So John, if you want to add to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in here and pat Juan on the back because he won't do it himself. Juan actually did all the research for the boot camp side of the API. He gathered all the information. So that there was a huge sifting through the internet trying to find the. I don't know if you know this, but a lot of places don't want to tell you how much they cost on the front page of their website. As far as the college AI API, one of the reasons that we went with it, besides just kind of the dearth of information and options out there, is it is insanely robust. It has a ton of information. Most of it was entirely useless to this particular project. Honestly, I mean, like if we wanted to build a search function that lets you filter by the percentage of graduates who are males above the age of 35, I suppose we could introduce that search function, but that variable doesn't do us a lot of good. So there are a ton of extra variables that we didn't end up using. The challenges that API presented were particularly in the fetch requesting, because the way they have their endpoints built is very different from any other API I've ever worked with. So because there's so much information, you have to, the fetch itself does a lot of paring down of the data, and that I hadn't run into before. So I had to utilize their documentation and a lot of trial and error in Postman to figure out, okay, this is how I build a fetch request that will actually pull the data I need without pulling a ton of data that is essentially useless to me.
Postman will be your friend forever.
Yeah, and honestly, with this project, there is so much information. My goodness, there are so many programs in different countries that people can go and study, right? That will cost them probably 5-10% of what education costs up here. I mean, colleges, right? So, but there's nothing available for people to get that information. All the hours and everything that we try to, spend searching and searching, we found so much valuable stuff. Like honestly, the project that we did is not even the tip of the iceberg. It's so minimal, and it's so funny because I remember laughing because every single college that does have a boot camp, like on the site that they put their name on it, every single one of them is built like the same web page. It's the same thing for almost every single one of them. The wording is a little different, but at the end is the same thing. So basically, it's like they're controlling what we can, filter through Google, what we can search, what's going to be there at first. So it's something that it's really, really deep, to be honest with you guys.
I think that's what makes 4Geek's website different. It's built different. The thing's amazing.
No, totally, yeah.
Well, and if I was going to expound on this project and make it a bigger, continue to do stuff, I think that what we would want to do is create our own API that does similarly what college AI does, but pares that information down and makes it a little bit friendlier for our application purposes and parse that data a little bit ahead of time. So it would be building a massive API, but it would be able to include both schools and boot camps. And one of the functions that I'd like to build into the app in the future is a suggestion option where somebody can suggest a boot camp we haven't heard of before, because there's so many of them out there popping up like mushrooms after a rainstorm. And we want to be able to have all the information available to our users. But the combing of the internet takes a ton of time and effort. So being able to sort of crowdsource that to your users, I think could be helpful to the application's lifespan overall.
Do it and sell it.
All right.
Any other questions?
All right, thank you guys so much. If there's no more questions, great job, by the way.
Thank you all.
If there's no more questions, we will move into the next project, which is going to be Alec and Austin.
Perfect. All right, so we are Washius, the king of car washing. Washius, we're an execution software that helps car wash owners and operators to reduce downtime, boost productivity, boost revenue, and manage and track preventative maintenance. The team, I'm Austin. I have 3 beautiful daughters, so I love playing Barbies, anything sports related, anything in the mountains, and I was a car wash operator for 10 years.
I'm Alec. I have 2 boys, so I love playing dinosaurs. I also love sports and love my family. I've been doing car wash operation for 6 years now.
And this is how we started. So in 2011, we built our first car wash. It's called Gorilla Car Wash. It's based in Lehi, Utah. And then after, believe it or not, there's a lot of car wash college courses and car wash meetups and groups like that, as well as shows that they put on, so you can go see all the new equipment and everything. But going through that, I gathered a lot of connections throughout the car wash industry, and noticed that a lot of the same operators and owners were having the same issues we were having, which was getting shut down on busy times, whether it was like a bearing broke or a hydraulic leak or anything like that could cause a shutdown that needed immediate repair. And so that's when we developed this idea of a car wash software that could help track and manage and prevent those type of issues. We put it on hold as we were expanding the car washes. So we built 3 more locations, but we never forgot about it. We were always still facing the same issues, and every single time one of those issues arose, we were like, man, we need to start doing this. And then in 2021, we actually met with 2 investors. One guy was a developer, the other guy was an accountant. The developer wanted a lot of money for it, as well as a percentage of the company. Me and Alec weren't millionaires, and we don't see ourselves millionaires anytime soon. So we decided we love computers, we love everything about IT. So we're like, we should just do a boot camp and learn to do it ourselves. And that's where we are at today. There's still a lot to do. It's not industry ready, but it will be in the future. I did this car wash dictionary, so a couple lingo that we'll be using is a ghost car. It's a fake car that we send out through. We send at the beginning of the day to prime all of the soaps and chemicals, as well as PMs. It's preventative maintenance, something that needs to be done to prevent damages. So there's 3 things that we knew we needed, and that was the ghost car, the ability to catch problems at the beginning of the day, especially on those busy weekends, Fridays, Saturdays, when you're pushing 1,600 car days. We needed a PM tracker, so you can track all your routine maintenance throughout the entire year. And then a productivity list for those rainy, snowy days where employees don't have to come and ask for stuff to do or ask if they can go home. Rather, they can check the list and see what needs to be done. The technologies we use, we pulled this graph off of GitHub, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and Python for the back end. Alec did most of the styling. I did the back end, and then we both took turns knocking out the JavaScript, the React pages. And Alec, you're up.
All right, so this is our login screen. And then we also have our sign up page right here. For the demo, we already set one up here. So our home screen is going to be our weather API. A lot of car washing is obviously based on weather, so we feel it to be important to have the weather show up for the manager's employees to be able to see what they need to expect throughout the day. If it's going to be a slow, rainy day, they should expect harder tasks that we technically can't do during busy times. But this is what it has so far. We're going to move on to our list. This is the ghost car like Austin was talking about. So every morning before we open to the public, we do something called a ghost car. As we send this fake car through, we make sure that everything is working properly before sending an actual vehicle through. We don't want it to be damaging people's vehicles or leaving customers unsatisfied right at the first 20 cars of the day. So in this, we walk the tunnel and we watch as every applicator, bearing, nozzle, etc. is all turning on. The purpose of it is just if something isn't working, you can click on this red circle and then you can type in something that's not, or what's going on with the part. And then after you've walked the entire ghost car through the tunnel, you'll click the greens or the reds, depending on if they're working or not, and then hit the submit button. This is just an example of what our tunnel has. Obviously, other people are going to have a lot of different things, but you'll just hit the submit, and then it'll send to an email. And in the email, it'll say broken on it, because that's all I typed. And we want this submit button to send to an email like either the managers, GMs, or the maintenance team, so that if they see that, oh, Lehigh's broke down, they have 3 broken parts, they're not even running cars, we should start our day out there. Then we move on to our opening, shift switch, and closing tabs. These are just checklists throughout the day that for opening, before you open, make sure all these are checked off. And then we go to the shift switch. Shift switch meaning if I'm 7:30 to 4 and people are coming in 4 to 8:30, I need to make sure I get all this done before they come in. And then the closing shift, obviously for closing. Then we move on to our 5-a-day. Our 5-a-day, I feel like this is one of the most important parts. Just keeping employees on task all day long, especially like Austin was saying, those rainy, snowy days. You want to keep people busy. The 5-a-day list is just obviously writing a list down of tasks for them to do throughout the day. I usually, managing right now, I usually do a 5-a-day in the morning and then a 5-a-day for the closing shift so that everyone will stay busy. And then you just go to the save button and they'll be there. Obviously, when they're done, they click the red X and it'll knock it out. Next, we're going to move on to our calendars. Our calendar. Austin already explained the preventative maintenance, but I'm going to go over it again. Just there's a lot of bearings, like for example, bearings that spin at 360 degrees, you have to grease weekly. There's the 180-degree bearings that you have to grease bi-weekly, and so on. This would just be where they can add an event and put it to a certain day, make it reoccurring, and then every month on the 22nd, they know, oh, I have to grease the bearings, or every week I have to grease the bearings. Gonna move on to our scheduler now. Obviously, this is a place where the manager will be able to create an employee schedule to save time. I'm just gonna fill out a couple days on Austin here. And then as you log into this, it's gonna put all the employees that log in on the screen. Oops, sorry. So this is what's going to send to the manager for him to be able to send out to all his employees, his or her employees. And then next, we're going to move on to our forms. We have our application forms, obviously, where people are able to apply for the job. Once you're done with the application, you'll hit submit, and it'll send to the manager or the company's email. We have our damage claims. Damage claims are super important. Probably one of the most stressful parts about the industry. You get a lot of people that haven't washed their cars in years that will take it through and then notice some scratches and claim that it might have came from the car wash. We wanted to make it easier to where rather than having papers just scattered all over the manager's desk, they'll just be able to come in and have it all just on his email and this website. I'm going to fill this out for you guys just so you can see. And then an employee name. It's always hard when an employee's helping the customer with the damage claim and we didn't know who helped them. And so we're just texting everybody in the group chat asking who it was, trying to get their story. And then this is what it will send to you. That way you can get all the information you need and give them a phone call back as soon as possible. And then we have our day off requests. Obviously, this is where people can request time off. They can send to the manager for him to be able to put it on his calendar. And then our customer feedback. If anyone has like the vacuums haven't been working correctly the past 3 months. I've noticed this hasn't been working very well. They can send it to us and we can get that fixed as soon as possible. And then we have our logout. Austin.
All right, so the challenges that we faced, there are two major challenges. It was all on the scheduler. We originally took the scheduler out because we're just having a lot of issues with the time frame that we had. So we originally took it out. The two issues, the map function with email.js doesn't work properly. You have to put different unique messages for each group. For each group basically, and you couldn't do that when you're mapping over a bunch of functions just to make one line of code. So it wasn't working how we wanted. That's why on the ghost car it wasn't in categories like the application was. And then and then the scheduler, we're pulling from the back end the user whenever they register. So when we're trying to gather the name for the email.js, it doesn't pull up as well. Those are just things that we'll be working on in the past and figure out a better solution that we can make it run exactly how we want it. Things we want to add in the future is a video tab with video tutorials on do-it-yourself repairs. So you don't have to pay high repair costs from a third-party repair shop. A lot of companies, they definitely drop the bag when it comes to repairs. And a lot of things are super simple. And those car wash colleges actually help and assist you with that. But we want to pull in videos so they can do that themselves. We want a more user-friendly schedule. And the weather app, it was a free API that we were calling, but we're going to make it a 10-day weather app. So then when the employee comes in, they can get the full week's forecast. So when they plan their schedules, they can know if they need to plan heavy after a rainstorm or light because of a rainstorm. And then a database to track repair parts based off of the customer's unique build for their tunnel. So they know how much they have on hand and what they need to order. And a huge thank you to Lewis. He helped me and Alec out a ton with mentoring and just joining our group and helping us where he can. And then we had a lot of fun and laughs with everyone who participated in class. We look forward to watching how everyone, how their careers turn out down the road. Got anything, Alex?
You're muted, Alec.
Thank you. No, I'm just saying thanks to Lewis as well. Helped us out a ton. So.
That's all.
I have a question.
Yep.
How much fun did you have working with dates in JavaScript?
It was terrible. To be honest. Storing in the database was terrible with like the scheduler, for instance. You had to have unique keys for each individual person. So like a set Monday 1, set Monday 2 type of thing. So that was we had a lot of issues.
We also had a lot of trial with the calendar. We had so many calendars downloaded.
That's another thing we haven't implemented too. Is it's supposed to be a reoccurring. That way they don't have to keep implementing it in themselves. It's going to reoccur. That's another change that we're running. We're going to use Calendly, but for the sake of time, we spent on the calendar, and then we had a teammate drop. We had to hurry up and compensate for that. So eventually it'll be a reoccurring calendar, so they don't have to keep track themselves. Any other questions?
Great job, guys.
Thank you.
You're the servant, and you know why.
Great job, guys. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Was there another question? I didn't mean to interrupt. No? Okay. We will move into the next project, which is Mindset with John and Chad.
All right. All right. Reset my slides there. All right.
Oh, John.
So our project is called Mindset, and it is designed to be, with the idea in mind of creating a mental health tracker. However, we found it could be applied to just about anything. My name is John. I'm originally from Oregon. I moved to Florida about 12 years ago, and I've had a successful career in e-commerce logistic business for over 20 years. I started web development, studying web development, my free time a couple of years ago in 2020, and realized it was something that I really enjoyed. I like the ability to be able to create new things and bring my ideas to life, and also the challenges that require my expert problem-solving skills resolve. So in January this year, I decided to go all in and learn to code. So I left my job to focus on a career change in development. I joined 4Geeks to provide a structured learning path to accelerate my learning process so I could launch a new career in development.
My name is Chad. I am a born and raised Floridian native. For the past 7 years, I have been working in medical sales and marketing. Going back further than that, my background was in graphic design. I have always enjoyed creating different types of art and design. Back when I was in college, I had learned basic web design and HTML, and I remember enjoying it very much. Fast forward to this past year, I started to revisit designing and had the desire to learn more of the programming side of web development. I joined 4Geeks to give me the proper education to move forward and to start a new and exciting career. And I am currently residing in Miami, Florida.
So about mindset, being aware of your issues is the first step to understanding them and gaining control of them. Mindset's an app that tracks your day-to-day issues. We designed the app, as I mentioned, to focus on mental health issues, but it can be applied to just about anything you'd like to track. It could be, if you're trying to break a bad habit or pain management or migraine or basically anything that has a recurring issue that affects you. We believe that tracking these issues can give you a better understanding of how frequent they occur along with the severity of them to see how they affect your life and impact it. Seeing this over time can show you if you're getting better or worse. A good example here is if it would be great information to share with your doctor. Mental health doctors often prescribe medicine using a trial and error system, since patients can have very different reactions to the same medication. So it can take often weeks before they start to work, and it can take months of trying out different medications before they find the right one that works well for each individual patient. So for example, if someone is trying to find the right medication for their anxiety, they can track how often they're having panic attacks. Then once they start the medication, they can review their progress to see if it's having a positive impact or not.
A lot of the technology that we were using for this project was HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Python, Flask, SQL, JWT API, Twilio, which is a pain in the neck, Celery, Rechart, Bootstrap, and GitHub.
Oh. Let's see, so I'll jump right into the demo portion here. Hopefully I'm still running. All right. This is our landing page. Beginning here is just like any other app that you would join. Chad, I think your mic is echoing. It's like our our form has shifted. To give you a quick summary here, the last 8 hours or so, Chad and I have been dealing with a CORS error, if anyone knows what that is, and we kind of just resolved it right before this started. So there's a little bit of a fast coding that was done here to kind of get this to work right. So we're back on track, but as you can see, some of the CSS shifted here. So basically, you sign up with your name, your email, password, and then you enter in just 3 random issues that you'd like to track. You don't have to do 3, but you can do, at least 1 is required, of course, to go. You sign up. I already have an account with data in it, so I'm going to jump to that. So when you log in, you get a personalized welcome along with a list of your issues that you're tracking. This is our third-party API bringing in a random quote every time the page loads here. It'll give you little inspirational quotes. So the base of the the app here is to track your status and how you're doing. So every day you would come in here and enter basically if you're doing great or terrible or okay for each one of your issues. So if I was having terrible anxiety today, I would say it's awful. If I had zero depression, I'd feel it's fantastic. And if I just slept okay, I'm just right there. So go ahead and submit that. And if I continue, and then the end result here is all here in your chart history. So this breaks down each of your issues and gives you a numerical value on each one of them. So a smiley face is rated as a 1, and a terrible day is rated as a 5, because the higher the score, the higher the graph's going to be. So, you know, the worse it is, the higher your score is. You want to get your score low. Your average level, you want to have low as possible. So you can see here, anxiety, you know, for every great day you're having a terrible day. You know, we're looking at, you know, anxiety seems to be affecting the person more than, you know, the other ones, followed by insomnia and then depression. And then you can break it down into each individual sections here. You can do 7 days. It'll give you a little breakdown on each and kind of see where you've been. You can look for patterns. You can see, oh yeah, Wednesday was terrible here. Tuesdays are awesome, and Thursdays are great. And then you can go back as far as you want to. And then you can change your chart types as well. So these are area charts. This is you know, if you're more prone to bar charts, or here's my favorite, the line chart, gives you the quick, happy, sad overview, so you can quickly identify, you know, how many terrible days you're having versus the great days. So what's that with all of this? So, and then we have a reminder section here, which is, you know, we wanted to do a number of things with this. We wanted to do text messages, which Chad spent numerous hours learning how to do and got it all figured out. But the one thorn in our side turned out to be a scheduler. So all of our reminder stuff tend to fell off a little bit, because setting a time for these things to trigger was a lot more complicated than you know, we could figure out. As Michael asked in the last one, you know, what did you think of JavaScript dates and times? Yeah, they're horrible. So yeah, anyway, so yeah, you enter in your email. We'd send out a daily email reminder so that you would know to come in and fill out your status. Yeah, even just getting these little dates to stand out like this was maybe a day's worth of work. So anyways, that's what we got here. So I'll pass it back to Chad here.
I need the next card.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. Right. So some of the challenges that we faced was working as a team. Unfortunately, we did have another member to our team that we lost about halfway through, and that put a little bit of a cramp in our schedule, which also kind of went hand in hand with coordinating our tasks, because we had to pick up the slack of where our teammate was supposed to do. We've had issues with repository management, merging conflicts. Working with new libraries is very challenging, but also very rewarding once you do get it figured out. I've had some port issues, terminal issues where my port would stop working, workspace issues, working with multiple CSS sheets mixed in with the Bootstrap and the inline methods, obtaining responsiveness through the website, time management. We work full time, we have family.
I think he froze, Chad.
The Corsairs are the best.
Okay.
We love getting with those.
Yeah, and the Corsair, by the way, was due to zombie code. You know what that is?
Some of the things that we would like to do to the app in the future, we would love to be able to build on the stats displayed to help recognize patterns. We would love to have the ability to add and edit issues after they sign up. Working on the text message reminders to submit daily statuses. We would love to be able to provide resources for finding mental health providers. So if you feel like you need to find a mental health doctor in your area, we would like to be able to add that feature into it. And we would also like to be able to keep track of other health issues, medications, vitals, blood pressure, weight, BMI, heart rate, sleep patterns. These are all things that we would like to initiate into the app in the future. And then as a thank you, we want to thank everybody who has helped us out, all of our classmates, our teacher, Brent, the president, Alejandro, Brandon, our teacher, Lewis, some of the other mentors, Brandon, Bahir, Christian. We couldn't have done this without any of you guys, so we definitely appreciate all of your help, including our fellow classmates, because they've helped us out throughout this whole process as well. So big thank you to everybody.
I agree. Yeah, the mentors were fantastic, I gotta say, and they were very patient with picking through our code with us. As Lewis mentioned, yeah, the back end is pretty monstrous. So, but we got it to work. We made it through. Any questions?
I have a question. It's not about dates, but how did you like working with Rechart to create the charts? Because I remember when I did my final project, I used Chart.js, and I didn't like it too much.
Yeah, it's you know, it was something that I had to learn, you know, before we did this. So it was a lot of trying to figure it out, and the way they kind of have it set up, it's not a canned piece of code that's like set up to pull data from arrays. And with this data, you know, we've got a single array of 3 different issues with all kinds of answers to it, along with dates. It's a massive array that we had to kind of split out into smaller arrays through some mapping. And but yeah, it was challenging to learn. But once kind of figured it out a little bit, you know, it's pretty cool. But there's definitely limitations. I mean, the stuff I wanted to do compared to what I was able to do were 2 completely different things. You know, and there are better ones out there, but they're a lot more detailed to learn. And we're, you know, being on a time crunch, you kind of got to pick one and learn it. So unfortunately, I learned this one, and then realized I should have learned another one that had a little bit more to it, I guess, more bells and whistles.
Hindsight is 2020, dude. Don't kick your butt about it.
Seriously.
I have another question.
Yeah, go for it.
Did you try storing the emojis in the database?
That's another thing. The emojis was a whole other thing, because I thought, well, I use, you know, Font Awesome, but you know, they're all paid or whatever. Then it was like, okay, well, I ended up, they're actually buttons that I had to use CSS on to drop the squares on them and get make them circular and add the coloring to them and stuff, the background. Yeah, so it was a little ridiculous on the amount of work I had to do just to make some little emojis, and then to get them to select individually like that was a couple days of work as well.
Paid off, dude. It paid off. And the only reason I say that is because recently we had a really hard time at my job storing emojis in a database. That's why I was like, did you do it?
Yeah, no, the emojis are only on the front end, and because it stores a numerical value on the back end. So, you know,
That's even better.
Yeah, so that was our workaround with that.
Was your test dummies categories based off of your final project and how you felt during the entire process?
A lot of sleepless nights, yes.
Great job.
By the way, Ghost Car is my favorite Scooby-Doo episode, Austin.
Scooby-Doo episode? I'll have to watch it. My daughter loves Scooby-Doo.
That's what I think of every time you say Ghost Car.
Thank you guys. Great job.
Thanks.
Okay, we're going to go to our next project, which is story time with Alan, Douglas, Sean, and Nick.
All right, good evening, everyone. We're a group of 4 who built a web app called Storytime. The purpose of this app is to learn languages through short and engaging stories. We are a group of 4, however, one of us has a family emergency and was unable to attend, so we'll be presenting in a group of 3. So my name is Sean Campbell. I currently work as a pharmacy technician for a retail chain pharmacy. I chose 4 Geeks Academy because it works really well with my schedule, and I knew that they'd be able to solidify the skills that I wanted to learn. And coding has always been a bit of a passion or a hobby, messing around with HTML, CSS back in the day. I really just wanted to gain that knowledge. Pass it on to Alan.
Hi, my name is Alan Martinez. I'm happy to be here. I'm from Arlington, Texas, in the DFW Metroplex area, and I'm a full stack web developer, entrepreneur, musician, gamer, lover of outdoor activities. In street food, my transition to tech started at the beginning of the year, and I wanted to know how to build my own personal website and to use that skill set to get a job and set up a marketing business with my girlfriend. I chose 4 Geeks Academy because I wanted to change my career path and also had the part-time classes that fit to my schedule for my work life and personal life. I never heard any career support this awesome and dedicated to land me a job and help me along the way to better prepare for any interview, and the unlimited support after the course is over. They also support you along the way whether you don't have experience or do. And also the community that the 4 Geekers provide is nothing but love and wants the best for you. And of course, my teachers, my cohort, and my mentors that help me 100% all the time when I get stuck or confused, and not judge me when I ask stupid questions about anything code. I want to thank all of you for being here and providing me this opportunity. Doug?
Hi, my name is Doug, Douglas Montes. My background is in real estate. I've done IT networking and support. I have a beautiful family of 3, and I'm very passionate about web development, what you can do with code. And my passion right now, or at least what I envision, is in the blockchain industry. And I'm very happy to be a part of this team and being part of 4 Geeks Academy.
All right, so what is Storytime? Storytime is a web-based and mobile-friendly web app that allows people to learn language. Our motto is learn Mandarin on the go. And the point of it is to be able to learn languages through short, engaging stories. So why Storytime? Why did we make Storytime? Well, the 4 of us came together and agreed that none of us like the way that most modern apps, language learning apps, do things. Learning a language can be tough, is tough, daunting, time-consuming, and frankly, just not fun. Let's face it, it's the reality of it. But we chose to make Storytime because we wanted to change that. We wanted to make things more engaging for people. We wanted to be able to allow our users to come back and be engaged in this. The tools that we used in this for our front end would be Bootstrap, React, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The backend were Python, SQL, Flask, and obviously Git. And at this point, I'm gonna stop sharing here, and I'm gonna have Doug can take the screen share for a demo.
Okay, can you guys see the screen? Can you guys see the screen? Yes, okay, great. So this is the homepage right here. Very simple. We would have this Start Learning Today button, which will lead the users to sign up and log in and start using the app. We have the login page here. Forgot password link, which if you're already a user, you would set that up and reset your password. And this is basically the main app, which we designed it basically with very high traffic, simple words that you would use in any situation, especially in any country you go to travel to, or any most occasions. Which is basically, it's comprised of a quick lesson followed by questions and options for you to select the right, or the point is to select the right answer. And also have an audio link to translate or pronounce all of the Mandarin words with opinion into English, to help you also associate the wrong answers with their translation in English. So basically, we have right now, it's about 10 lessons. So I'll briefly go through it. You pick the wrong answer, you'll get that. And I'm going to quickly go through the options here. Then once you finish, it will be prompted to this final page where you would get to rate the app, also share it with social media. And that's basically it as far as the functionality. And this would be the About Us page. I forgot to mention at the beginning. And that's basically it.
All right, perfect. Okay, take back the screen share. All right, so what are some of the challenges that we faced? For me, my biggest challenge was two, actually. One, working in a team, learning how to delegate tasks, pass along tasks, who's managing what. And the second one for me was Git. We struggled a ton with Git. Many times we broke our code. Many times we cried to our teacher and any mentor who would listen to us to help us fix it. Through hard work and a lot of repetition, we finally understand it. But that was the biggest hurdle for me. Pass it along to either one of you.
Yeah, so I mean, every step of the way is a challenge. Personally, a lot of the bug hunting and fixing one thing, affecting another, breaking another, shaking off the imposter syndrome daily. It's been a great challenge with a lot of rewards. Now that we're at the completion stage, measuring, I guess, the knowledge or the level of knowledge I had about coding, starting the boot camp and where I'm at now, I can see the difference. I can see the knowledge and the concepts and the way of thinking. Everything has been enhanced. Going through the course and learning everything we learned. Me personally, favorite moments have been, having, solving the problems that came along, but, solving those specific problems where you found a solution to yourself or by yourself, or you were able to apply what I've learned and it worked, to me, those were the best moments in the process. Alan?
The biggest challenges on working with this project is getting over the imposter syndrome. Finding time to work as a team, and not knowing JavaScript as a whole, and getting the code what you want to getting the code what you wanted to do. Learning new tricks to code also, the command line, and designing the website to make it match what we're trying to do or we're trying to deliver, and trying not to cry every single time that we break a code or trying to find a bug or something like that. But the fun part has been
You muted your mic.
oh sorry. So pretty much the fun part of it was pretty much seeing it like grow week by week, day by day, or even hours, and just learning how to code, I guess, in a shortcut. So yeah.
And lastly, the future features we want to add is we want to add some games to this to make it more engaging. Also, a section for teachers to join and make their own lessons. Maybe teachers could make their own lessons, have students, obviously, and the teachers could make their lessons private for their own class or public for other students or teachers to use in their lesson. Adding new languages is definitely a must. And an audio feature, we do have one, but I would like to add one where we have one where the language, the Chinese text is translated to English. But I would like one where we need to add one where the Chinese text is pronounced in Mandarin. So those are the future things. And lastly, I would just like to say thank you to everyone. Thank you all for listening to us, the mentors, teachers, teachers assistants who have gone through this with us. A whole lot. I would like to thank all of you because we honestly couldn't have done it without you. And that's the end of this. Anybody have any questions?
Great job, guys. Are there any questions? I guess Michael must have dropped off because he was asking all the questions.
What was your
There's
favorite
one.
part about the project?
Favorite part? Well, it's I guess a little bit weird, but mine is when I came into this, I assume this is the same for everyone. But coming into this, I knew absolutely nothing. We spent the last 3 months learning this code or learning how to code. But I feel like when the final project started, I knew absolutely nothing. And I think my favorite part was going through it, learning, gaining a new foundation for this, getting kind of a new love for it, because I can do things now that I definitely couldn't do even after I finished my class.
I agree with you on that. Like learning a whole new language.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Any more questions?
Okay, great job, guys. So we will move right into our last project. You guys look all set to go. Matthias and Brian, go ahead.
Thank you. I will start sharing my screen, and I hope you can see the screen with the slides. Let me know if you're not seeing the slides. Our app is Moody, as you can see in the slide, and it's an app that finds something new to do based on your mood, emotions. And we're going to talk about who we are and what's the Moody app and the building process, and we're gonna do a run of the app, and we're gonna the parts that made us Moody, the challenges, and what we might see the future of Moody to look like. Well, I am Mateus Bevilacqua. I currently work as a program manager and operational lead for a tech company's trust and safety team. And I decided to do a bootcamp class because I enjoy challenging myself and always learning new things. And I chose 4Geeks Academy because, well, I am a Latino myself, and I was really happy to see that 4Geeks was founded by, Latino, and it's very strong among Latino communities. So I just want to pay homage to them and to take that course with them. And on to you, Brian.
So my name is Brian Hayslip. I am born and raised here in Silicon Valley. I have about a decade-long career in international relations and politics, but I am transitioning out of that, and I'm working at a startup, and obviously decided to learn how to code. And I chose 4Geeks mostly because the reviews were so great, and it just seemed like a really solid community. And Mateus wanted to do it with me, so that was a bonus as well.
The Moody app, we created it because sometimes we feel that we end up doing things that really don't match our emotions or complement how we're feeling. So the Moody app is here to help the user to find the right thing to do based on their emotions. And I was also really happy to see another app that is related to mindset. So that was fun. The app, overall, the app it starts asking how the user is feeling and then gives the user an option to select a bunch of emotions. And based on that, it will show some events using the user selections and also the user's zip code. And the technology that we used were basically the same technology as everyone else in the presentation, because those technologies were the ones taught in 4Geeks Academy. But for the API, we decided to use SeatGeek API, which is an event such as like Yelp or Eventbrite, but we decided to do SeatGeek. And now we're going to go to the most exciting part, which is the app itself. And I will do a little resharing of my screen so I can share the app again. Just bear with me, for God's sake. Okay, so Brian's going to do the presentation for you.
So this is our main login homepage. I'm going to go ahead and create an account so that I can actually log in. We'll call myself Brian at 4geeks.com. And I'll just log in with that information. Oops. Is that? Okay. So this is the main emotions page where the user will select one of the emotions that we have listed here. As you may have seen, I inputted a zip code when I registered. So the zip code in the user registration is how we make the call to the API to get the events, based off of the user zip code. So they can choose one of these emotions. We have adventurous, energetic, artistic, introspective, social, lonely, and sad. You can select at least one. You can select as many as you want. I recommend just one or maybe two so that the results are a little bit more specific. So I'll just go ahead and select one and then do find events. And this will show you all the events in your area just kind of listed here. So as you can see, I'm getting a lot of upcoming concerts in San Francisco. That looks like super fun. If you get some events that you maybe don't like or feel like aren't what you're looking for, you could just select our logo and then go back and make a different selection. And then another feature too is you can click the find out more link on any of the events, and that actually takes you directly to SeatGeek's website where you can look at more information about the event and actually purchase tickets. And that's essentially the app. Anything else I should add?
No, that's
Okay.
awesome. Thank you. And if you log out, it does what it's supposed to do. So I'm going to share the presentation again. I hope you can see the slides. Okay, so we did the demo, and Brian's going to talk about what made us really moody throughout the time.
Yeah, so I would say our three main challenges were these three. So integrating the API, time management, and our group dynamic. So with the API, there was a lot of different options that we could use. And we ended up using SeatGeek mainly because it provided a lot of different options for pretty much any area of the country, because we wanted users in anywhere, no matter where they lived in the United States, we wanted them to be able to use the app. So there was a lot of options and a lot of variety of different events. And so that was really helpful. But of course, setting it up in our app and like doing all the GET requests, and there's a ton of data for each event. And so having to parse through all of that and just pull the specific points that we wanted to actually display on the front end, that was a little bit time consuming. And then time management, both of us have full-time jobs and have lives that are pretty demanding outside of this, as most of us do. And so just kind of finding the time every week to meet with our mentors, to meet with each other, and to get everything done was definitely a challenge. And group dynamic, mostly just the fact that we started with 3 people and then ended with 2, that definitely presented some challenges along the way, as far as having to kind of pick up the slack where that 3rd member would have been. But we ended up doing pretty much anything that we wanted to do. So in the end, it was all fine. So as far as, did you want to do this or do you want to do it?
You can do it.
Okay. As far as the future of the app or certain things that we would like to continue working on and adding, we would like to mess with the API a little bit, maybe add a different API on top of the one we already have, just to give more variety to the events that are displayed. We would like to add a favorites component, meaning giving the user the ability to add an event to a list of favorites so that they can keep track of different ones. Different login options would be great, like being able to log in with Gmail, and then also having the user being able to change their zip code in case they want to look at events in a different area. Because right now, if they wanted to change their zip code, they just have to log out and then re-register with a different zip code, which isn't an ideal user experience.
Well, thank you, Brian, and thank you for Geeks. And we just want to thanks Kristen Marrero for all the help throughout the moodiest time that we faced. And that's all we have. If you have any questions, here to answer.
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
Question number 1. Who made the memes?
I did.
I knew it. Question number 2. Who chose the color palette? Great color palette.
I did.
Good job.
Yeah, I do use a lot of memes on my work presentation. I work a lot with law enforcement also at work, and I do memes for them as well. And I love coloring a lot, so I think I chose the colors based on my choices. We wanted to go through like a 70s style, and Alisa mentioned that it looked like very 70s. So yeah,
I think it looked great.
Thank you.
I have a question. So it's for both of you. If y'all were able to go back and mentor yourselves at the beginning of your journey, what kind of advice would you have for yourself?
I would say don't have a full-time job that demands you to work 10 to 12 hours a day while you're doing a boot camp, for sure. But also, I think relying on YouTube videos, I think relying on many other sources, not only the source that 4Geek provide us, but just go out there and rely on YouTube or articles. And also, at least I connected to a couple of engineers and talked to them about a couple of things. That's something that if I were like in the beginning even more, it would help a lot.
I would say to have more patience with myself and like slow down a little bit and be okay with making mistakes and not understanding things the first time around. And just like really giving myself time to dive deep into certain topics without brushing over them too quickly.
Yeah, and like not compare myself to others. Sometimes I would like be like really hard on myself because like someone else would just kind of be more advanced, but I'm like, well, just be kind to myself in a way.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Add on to that.
Sure.
I just wanted to add that it's okay to not know something the first time or the second time or the third time, because oftentimes it takes me a while to really understand something. So don't kick yourself in the butt.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Well, if there's no questions, thank you.
Any other questions? Hey guys, sorry, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I lost you guys for a second there. Okay, well, that concludes our projects for tonight. So thank you guys all for coming. So first of all, congratulations to cohorts 34 and 35. You guys did it. You guys finished your program. You presented in your final project. You graduated. You are done. No more 6 to 9 classes. But what starts now? So first of all, enjoy your weekend. Have a drink. Celebrate with your family. Celebrate with your friends. You guys just accomplished something really great. So you guys should be very proud. And then we will start your next boot camp, your 90-day Find You a Job boot camp. So we will be reaching out to you guys to explain to you about the career support process. I know some of you have already started it, but just continuing to meet with Adele, Patricia, and Valentina, getting your resume ready, your personal brand, applying for jobs, and hopefully we land you a job within that 90-day period. But don't even think about that yet. Just enjoy your weekend, celebrate, congratulations. And I hope you guys all have a great night. Oh, I see a question here. Do you get a certificate? Yes. So the most important thing for you guys to do is make sure all of your assignments are submitted via 4geeks.com. As long as all of your assignments are complete, then we will send you a digital version of your certificate, and we can also mail you a physical version if you would like one. Great job.
All right, Lewis, leave that GitHub open.
Yes, boys.
It's there for you to take, man.
Okay, hasta luego.
Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
Alyssa.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.